Your soulmate is saying, I need to tell you what happened today. It is very urgent. Please open this. They have been staring at your name for several minutes, trying to decide how to explain something that has completely changed the way they see this connection. Their hands are unsteady. Their thoughts are moving too quickly. They have started typing the message, deleted it, and written it again because every version feels too small for what happened. This is not an ordinary update. It is not a casual attempt to begin another conversation after a period of silence. Something happened today that forced your soulmate to confront a truth they had been avoiding for a very long time, and now they feel that you need to know before another person gets the chance to change the story. For weeks, your soulmate had been trying to convince themselves that the distance between you was necessary. They told themselves that staying quiet was more respectful than reopening old emotions. They believed you had probably moved on, and they tried to accept that possibility even though it hurt them more than they were willing to admit. Every time they felt the urge to contact you, they remembered the misunderstandings, the unfinished conversations, and the moments when both of you seemed too afraid to say what you truly felt. They would open your chat, look at your name, and close it again. They believed silence was protecting both of you, but what happened today showed them that the silence may never have been completely natural. My child, pause for a second. Your soulmate discovered that someone had been speaking about you behind your back. At first, the conversation appeared harmless. They were with a person they trusted, someone who had always acted supportive and concerned about their happiness. Your name came up unexpectedly, and this person immediately became uncomfortable. They changed the subject, avoided eye contact, and began offering advice your soulmate had not asked for. They said contacting you would be a mistake. They said you had already made your decision. They claimed that you had spoken about the connection as though it meant very little to you. Your soulmate had heard similar things before, but this time something about the way the person spoke felt different. Their words sounded rehearsed, almost as though they were repeating a story they had used many times. Your soulmate asked a simple question. When did they say that? The person could not give a clear answer. They mentioned one date and then changed it. They said the conversation happened in person, then later suggested it may have been through a message. Your soulmate listened carefully. In the past, they might have accepted the explanation because it matched their fear. They were already afraid that you did not care, so any story supporting that belief felt believable. But today, they did not allow fear to answer for them. They asked to see proof. That was when the person became defensive. They said your soulmate was becoming obsessed. They accused them of refusing to accept reality. They said there was no reason to reopen something that had already ended. But your soulmate noticed that none of these statements answered the original question. When did you supposedly speak negatively about the connection, and what exactly did you say? The person continued avoiding the details, and your soulmate finally realized that the story may have been designed to keep them from contacting you directly. Then something unexpected happened. The person left the room for a few minutes and forgot their phone on the table. Your soulmate was not trying to invade their privacy, but a notification appeared on the screen. Your name was inside the message. The preview said, "They are asking questions. Delete the old screenshots." Your soulmate felt their entire body become cold. They did not touch the phone. They did not need to. The message was enough. Someone was coordinating information about your connection. Someone knew your soulmate was beginning to question the story. Someone wanted evidence removed before the two of you could compare what each had been told. My child, pause for a second. This is why your soulmate's message feels so urgent. They now understand that waiting could allow important proof to disappear. The person returned and immediately noticed the notification on the screen. Their expression changed when they saw your soulmate looking at it. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then your soulmate asked, "What old screenshots?" The person tried to laugh. They claimed the message was about something unrelated. But your soulmate repeated the question, slowly and directly. This time, the person became angry. They grabbed the phone, deleted the notification, and accused your soulmate of crossing a boundary. Your soulmate remained calm. They said, "You have been telling me what they think and feel for months. If you are telling the truth, show me where the information came from." The person refused. That refusal confirmed more than any explanation could. Your soulmate began remembering every important moment when they almost contacted you. Each time, this same person appeared with new information. Once, they claimed you were becoming close to someone else. Another time, they said you wanted complete distance. They repeatedly warned your soulmate that reaching out would embarrass them. At the time, the advice seemed protective. Now it looked like interference. Your soulmate left the conversation and returned home, but their mind would not stop. They opened old messages, searched through archived conversations, and compared dates. They noticed something disturbing. Several of your messages were missing. Not entire conversations, just certain parts. The missing messages were always connected to emotional moments, especially times when you had asked for clarity or tried to explain your feelings. One message remained visible in a notification history, even though it no longer appeared inside the chat. You had written, "I do not want to pressure you. I only need to know whether this connection is real for you too." Your soulmate had never seen it. They stared at the words for a long time. During that period, they believed you had become cold and distant. They thought you did not care enough to ask what was happening. Now they were looking at proof that you had asked directly, and someone had made sure the question never reached them. The realization broke something open inside your soulmate. They remembered how angry they had felt when you pulled away. They believed you had abandoned the connection without explanation. They responded by becoming even more distant, not knowing that your withdrawal may have happened because their silence followed a message they never received. Both of you may have been reacting to missing information. Your soulmate immediately checked the login history of their account. There was an unfamiliar device listed during the exact week your message disappeared. The location was not random. It was connected to the person who had been advising them. My child, pause for a second. Your soulmate now knows that someone had access to their private conversations. But they still do not know how much was deleted or changed. They began searching through saved files and found a folder they did not remember creating. Inside were screenshots of conversations between you and another person. The screenshots made it look as though you were mocking the connection. They showed you saying you were tired of your soulmate and had never taken the bond seriously. For several minutes, your soulmate believed they had finally found the proof that you did not care. Then they noticed something. The font size changed between messages. The timestamps did not follow the correct order. One of your supposed replies used a phrase you never use. The screenshots had been edited. Someone created false conversations and placed them where your soulmate would eventually find them. Your soulmate felt ashamed because, months earlier, they had already been shown one of these screenshots. That image was the reason they stopped trying. They believed you had laughed about their feelings. They believed you saw their vulnerability as weakness. They never asked you about it because they were too hurt and embarrassed. Now they understand that their silence was built on fabricated evidence. They began taking photographs of everything before it could be removed. Login records. Notification history. The fake screenshots. Dates of missing messages. They saved copies in several places. Then they contacted someone with technical knowledge and asked whether the screenshots could be examined. The answer came quickly. The images contained clear signs of editing. Parts had been copied, moved, and placed together. The conversation had never existed in the form your soulmate was shown. That was the moment your soulmate stopped doubting you. They began remembering your real behavior. The patience you showed. The way you protected their private struggles. The way you never used their vulnerability against them, even when you were hurt. None of that matched the person shown in the fake screenshots. Your soulmate realized they had trusted manufactured evidence over the person standing in front of them. They wanted to call you immediately, but before they could, another message arrived from an unknown number. Do not contact them tonight. You do not understand what will happen. Your soulmate replied, "Who is this?" The answer came within seconds. Someone who has been protecting both of you. Your soulmate asked, "Protecting us from what?" No reply came. Instead, they received a photograph. It showed you and your soulmate at the same place years before either of you remembers meeting. Both of you looked younger. You were standing near an old building, surrounded by several adults. Your soulmate recognized two of them immediately. One was connected to their family. The other was the person who had been giving them false information. On the back of the photograph, written in faded ink, were the words, "If they begin speaking again, the old agreement will be exposed." My child, pause for a second. Your soulmate had believed the interference was caused by jealousy. Perhaps someone wanted their attention. Perhaps a friend felt threatened by the connection. But the photograph suggests something much larger. Someone may have been trying to prevent both of you from comparing memories connected to your families. Your soulmate zoomed in on the image and noticed that you were holding a small object. It looked like a key, but not an ordinary one. It was short, silver, and marked with 2 letters. Your soulmate recognized the symbol because a similar object had been stored in their family home for years. They had seen it once as a child and were told never to touch it. They immediately called an older relative and asked about the object. The relative became silent. Then they asked where your soulmate had found the photograph. Your soulmate refused to answer and asked what the key opened. The relative said, "Some doors are safer closed." Your soulmate replied, "Who decided that?" The relative ended the call. That reaction made the situation even more urgent. Your soulmate went to the place where the family object had been stored. The drawer was locked, but the key was still hidden nearby. When they opened it, the silver object was gone. Someone had removed it recently. Inside the empty drawer was a folded note. Your soulmate opened it and read, "When the two pieces are together, they will understand why the separation was necessary." Two pieces. One may be the object visible in your hand in the photograph. The other had been kept by your soulmate's family. If both still exist, they may unlock something connected to the old building. Your soulmate does not know whether you remember the object. They do not know whether your family still has it. But they know someone believes the two pieces must remain separated, just as both of you were kept separated. They began writing the urgent message to you. "I need to tell you what happened today. It is very urgent. Please open this." They want to explain everything. The false screenshots. The missing messages. The unfamiliar device. The photograph. The silver object. The warning from the unknown number. But your soulmate also wants to take responsibility. They know manipulation does not excuse every mistake. Someone may have created false evidence, but your soulmate still chose not to ask you directly. They allowed fear to become stronger than trust. They accepted another person's version of your heart because the truth felt risky. They understand that now. They do not expect you to forgive them immediately. They do not expect one message to repair everything. They only want you to know that your silence was not ignored deliberately. Your message never reached them. And the story they were shown about you was not real. My child, pause for a second. Your soulmate is not contacting you only because they miss you. They are contacting you because someone may be moving quickly to destroy the remaining evidence. The person who left the phone on the table has disappeared. Their number is no longer active. Several old files have already been removed from shared accounts. Your soulmate saved what they could, but one important screenshot is missing. It showed the name of the second person involved. Someone close to you. Someone who knew when you planned to speak to your soulmate. Someone who knew about your private feelings. Someone who may have been passing information from your side while the other person controlled your soulmate's side. Your soulmate does not know the full identity yet, but they found one clue. The second person used an email address containing a date. Your soulmate recognized the date because it appears on the back of the old photograph. It is the day both of you met as children. The day neither of you remembers clearly. The day the silver pieces were apparently separated. Your soulmate sends the message. This time, it reaches your phone. You open it and see the proof attached. Your hands begin trembling as you move through each image. You recognize the message you sent. You recognize the screenshot that was falsely created to make your soulmate distrust you. You recognize the old building in the photograph. Then you see the silver object in your younger hand. A memory flashes. A wooden door. A dark room. Your soulmate standing beside you. An older person saying, "Promise you will never tell anyone what you saw." The memory disappears before you can hold it. You call your soulmate immediately. They answer before the first ring finishes. You say, "I remember the building." Your soulmate stops breathing for a moment. You continue, "And I think I know where my piece is." There is silence on the line. Then your soulmate says, "Do not go there alone." You ask why. They send one final photograph. It was taken only minutes ago. The image shows the old building. The front door is open. A light is burning inside. And standing near the entrance is the person who has been working against this connection. But they are not alone. Beside them stands someone from your family. Someone you trusted. Someone who has spent years telling you that your soulmate never cared. My child, pause for a second. Your soulmate needed to tell you what happened today because the story is finally breaking apart. The lies are no longer hidden. The people involved are becoming afraid. The missing messages have been found. The false evidence has been exposed. But the most urgent truth is still waiting inside that building. Someone has brought the two silver pieces together. Someone has already opened the door they were designed to unlock. And whatever lies behind it may reveal why you and your soulmate were separated long before either of you understood what love was. Your soulmate says, "Please listen to me. We do not face this separately. That is how they controlled us before. This time, you agree. No more secret decisions. No more believing another person without asking each other. No more silence disguised as protection. Your soulmate has finally reached you. But as both of you prepare to uncover the truth, another message arrives. It contains only one sentence. You have until midnight to decide whether this connection is worth destroying everything your family's built. And beneath those words is a live photograph of the hidden room. Inside it sits an old box. Your names are carved into the lid. The box appears to have been waiting for both of you for years. But someone else is already reaching for it. And once that lid is opened, your soulmate may discover that what happened today was not the beginning of the truth. It was the final warning before a secret kept for generations is revealed. The clock was already moving toward midnight. Your soulmate remained on the phone with you, staring at the live photograph of the hidden room while trying to understand what the warning truly meant. The old box sat beneath a single hanging light, covered in dust except for the fresh fingerprints visible across its lid. Your names were carved into the wood, not recently, but many years ago. The letters were uneven, as though they had been written by children. You felt another memory trying to return, but every time you reached for it, the image disappeared behind a wall of confusion. Your soulmate repeated the sentence from the message. You have until midnight to decide whether this connection is worth destroying everything your family's built. The words were designed to frighten you. They wanted both of you to believe that uncovering the truth would make you responsible for whatever followed. They wanted guilt to succeed where lies had finally failed. But after everything you had discovered, neither of you was willing to accept another decision based on fear. Your soulmate said quietly, "We are not destroying anything. Whatever is inside that room already existed. We are only refusing to keep carrying a lie. For the first time, you heard complete certainty in their voice. My child, pause for a second. This moment was not only about the hidden box. It was about whether both of you would repeat the same pattern that had controlled the connection for years. Every previous separation began with one person receiving frightening information and trying to handle it alone. One of you would disappear to protect the other. The other would misunderstand the silence. Then the people behind the scenes would use that pain to create more distance. This time, neither of you moved alone. You told your soulmate exactly where you believed your silver piece was hidden. Years ago, an older relative had placed a small object inside a jewelry box and told you it belonged to someone from the past. You had asked what it opened, but they refused to answer. Eventually, you stopped asking and almost forgot it existed. Now the shape in the photograph had awakened the memory. Your soulmate asked you to stay where you were while they contacted someone trustworthy. Not someone involved in either family. Someone who could document what happened and help ensure the evidence did not disappear. You agreed, but before the call ended, another message arrived from the unknown number. Do not involve outsiders. A second message followed immediately. We can see both of you. Your soulmate's expression changed. They moved toward the window and looked outside. A dark vehicle was parked across the street. Its lights were off. Someone was sitting inside. You checked outside your own home. Another unfamiliar vehicle stood near the corner. This was no longer only emotional manipulation. Someone was monitoring your movements. Your soulmate told you to lock the door and save every message. They did the same. Then, instead of responding to the threat, they sent you copies of all the evidence again, including the login records, edited screenshots, old photograph, and the warning connected to the silver pieces. Both of you created a record that could not easily be erased. Only then did your soulmate contact the trusted person. They did not reveal every private detail. They simply explained that both of you had received threats connected to old family documents and needed someone to remain aware of your location. My child, pause for a second. The people behind the secret had always depended on isolation. They wanted each person frightened, confused, and alone. The moment both of you began documenting the truth and involving a neutral witness, their control weakened. You went to the room where your childhood belongings were stored. The old jewelry box remained exactly where you remembered it. Its surface was scratched, and the small lock no longer worked. Inside were old photographs, broken chains, birthday cards, and objects that had once seemed important. At the bottom, wrapped inside faded blue cloth, was the silver piece. The moment you touched it, a memory returned. Not completely. Only a sound. A metal click. A child's voice saying, "Both pieces have to turn together." You called your soulmate. I found it. Their voice became quiet. They had also discovered something. While searching through their family records, they found an old blueprint of the building shown in the photograph. The hidden room was marked on the plan, but not as a storage room. It was labeled Archive Chamber. Beneath the label was a handwritten instruction. Access requires 2 holders. You looked down at your silver piece. This was why the box carried both names. Whatever had been hidden was designed to be opened by two people, not one. The unknown sender sent another photograph. This time, the box was opened slightly. A hand rested on the lid, but whoever was inside had not opened it fully. The caption said, "Your final chance." Your soulmate replied for the first time. "We are coming together." The response arrived almost immediately. "Then you have chosen the consequences." Your soulmate looked at the message and said, "No. We have chosen the truth." The two of you agreed to meet near the old building. Not directly outside it. A short distance away, beneath the lights of a busy petrol station where cameras and other people were present. When your soulmate arrived, they stepped out of the vehicle holding a folder and the matching blueprint. You had not seen them since the truth began unfolding, and for one brief moment, everything else disappeared. They looked frightened. So did you. But neither of you looked away. Your soulmate approached slowly and said, "Before we go any further, I need to say something." You waited. "I am sorry that I believed the false evidence without asking you. I am sorry I allowed people to use my fear. And whatever happens tonight, I will not hide anything from you again." You answered honestly. "I am still hurt. I know. I still do not trust everything. I understand. But I am here." Your soulmate's eyes filled with emotion. "That is more than I deserve. My child." Pause for a second. This was not an instant repair. It was something more real. Two people standing inside uncertainty and choosing honesty anyway. You showed your soulmate the silver piece. They placed the blueprint beside it and pointed to a symbol near the archive chamber. It matched the engraving perfectly. Then they showed you another detail. The room contained two entrances. The main door visible in the live photograph. And a smaller passage from the back of the building. Whoever invited you likely expected you to use the main entrance. Your soulmate suggested entering through the second route. You informed the trusted person of the plan and shared your live locations. Then both of you moved toward the building together. The street around it was almost empty. The front door remained open, exactly as shown in the photograph. A warm light escaped through the doorway, but the rest of the structure was dark. You moved toward the rear entrance. The passage was partly blocked by old furniture, but the blueprint was accurate. Behind a damaged wooden panel was a narrow corridor leading directly toward the hidden room. As you entered, another memory flashed. You had walked through this corridor before. Your soulmate had been beside you. Both of you were children. Someone was guiding you toward the same room. You stopped suddenly. Your soulmate noticed. "What do you remember?" "A voice," you whispered. "Someone told us that if the adults forgot the truth, we were supposed to find it later." Your soulmate stared at you. They remembered something too. A man kneeling in front of both of you. He placed one silver piece in each of your hands. Then he said, "Never let one family keep both." The memory vanished. But now the meaning was becoming clearer. The silver pieces were not only keys. They were protection against one side controlling the records. Both families had to be represented before the chamber could be opened. As you reached the end of the corridor, you heard voices inside the room. One belonged to the person from your soulmate's side. The one who had repeatedly warned them not to contact you. The second voice belonged to someone from your family. The person who had spent years convincing you that the connection was dangerous. They were arguing. One said, "We should destroy it before they arrive." The other replied, "We cannot. The box is designed to record any forced entry." Your soulmate silently activated the recording function on their phone. You both remained hidden near the doorway. The person from your family continued. If they read the agreement, they will know the marriage, the separation, all of it was planned. Your heart stopped. Marriage? Whose marriage? The other person responded. The marriage was only one part. The important thing was keeping the families from comparing records. Your soulmate looked at you. This was larger than either of you imagined. Someone had not simply manipulated your recent connection. They had been shaping major decisions for years. Then came the sentence that changed everything. They were never supposed to fall in love again. Again. The word echoed through the corridor. Your soulmate tightened their grip on the phone. The person from your family said, they were attached as children. That is why the memories had to be buried. You felt the air leave your lungs. Your earlier meeting had not been brief or meaningless. You and your soulmate had formed a connection years ago. Strong enough that adults felt threatened by it. My child, pause for a second. Some memories disappear naturally. Others disappear because every reminder is deliberately removed. Photographs are hidden. Names are never spoken. Objects are locked away. And children are told that what they felt was only imagination. The two people inside the room continued arguing. One wanted to burn the documents. The other feared the consequences. Finally, the person from your soulmate's side said, the original agreement proves neither family stole the money. The person from yours replied, it also proves who did. Silence followed. Then a name was spoken. A name you both recognized. A respected elder who had been trusted by both families. Someone who had controlled the financial records decades earlier. Someone whose reputation was built on the belief that they had tried to save everyone after the conflict. The truth was the opposite. They created the conflict. They moved the money. They forged evidence. Then they told each family that the other side was responsible. The separation protected them. And when some older relatives began searching for the truth, they used future relationships, marriages, and family loyalty to keep the two sides divided. Your soulmate's hand began trembling. The person being discussed had played an important role in their childhood. They had been treated like a hero. Now the hidden conversation suggested they were responsible for everything. You stepped closer to the doorway. The floor creaked. The voices stopped. Someone said, they are here. The light inside the room switched off. Your soulmate grabbed your hand. For a moment, complete darkness surrounded you. Then you heard movement. One person ran toward the front exit. The other remained near the box. Your soulmate turned on their phone light. The hidden room came into view. Dusty shelves. Old records. Photographs. The open wooden box. And standing beside it was the person from your family. They stared at you with an expression filled with guilt. You asked the question you had waited years to ask. Why did you keep us apart? The person looked at your soulmate, then back at you. Because the first time you found the truth, someone threatened both of your families. You moved closer. What truth? They pointed toward the box. Open it. Your soulmate asked, why should we trust you now? The person lowered their head. You should not. That is why I am not asking you to trust me. I am asking you to trust the records. They stepped away from the box. Inside were two metal slots. You placed your silver piece into one. Your soulmate placed the matching piece into the other. Both of you turned them at the same time. A mechanism moved beneath the wood. The bottom of the box lifted. Inside was a collection of original contracts, photographs, audio tapes, and one sealed envelope. Your names were written across the envelope. This time, the handwriting belonged to the man from your returning memory. The one who gave you the silver pieces as children. Your soulmate opened it carefully. The letter began. If you are reading this, then they failed to separate you permanently. You looked at each other. The letter explained that you and your soulmate met repeatedly as children during secret attempts to rebuild peace between the families. You became close quickly. You trusted each other naturally, without understanding the history surrounding you. During one of those meetings, both of you accidentally entered the archive chamber and found documents proving the family conflict had been manufactured. You told the adults. Some wanted to expose the truth. Others were afraid. The respected elder responsible for the theft threatened to destroy both families financially if the information became public. So a compromise was made. The records would remain hidden until both of you were old enough to decide what to do. The silver pieces were given to you as separate keys. But someone changed the plan. You were kept apart. The memories were buried beneath years of silence. False stories were introduced. And every time your paths moved toward each other, someone intervened. Your soulmate continued reading. Then they reached a paragraph that made their face turn pale. The letter said, "The connection between you is not dangerous because of what it may become. It is dangerous to them because of what it already survived. My child, pause for a second." Your soulmate finally understood. The people behind the scenes were never truly afraid of romance. They were afraid of trust. Because when you and your soulmate trusted each other, the false stories collapsed. The person from your family began crying. They admitted they participated in the interference. They passed information. They discouraged you from reaching out. They convinced themselves it was necessary to protect the family from scandal. But today, they learned that someone planned to destroy the remaining records permanently. That was why they sent the warning. They wanted both of you to come before everything disappeared. You asked, why not simply tell us? They answered, "Because I was afraid you would never believe me." Your soulmate said quietly, "That is what fear made everyone do. Hide the truth and make decisions for someone else." The person could not argue. Then a sound came from outside. A vehicle started. The other person had escaped with something. Your soulmate checked the box. One file was missing. The inventory list identified it as Recorded Statement, Final Confession. The only direct confession from the person who created the original conflict had been taken. Without it, the record still revealed a great deal, but the strongest proof was gone. Your soulmate received another message. It contained a photograph of the missing recording inside a moving vehicle. The message said, "You found the documents, but you still do not know what happened after you opened the box the first time." A second message arrived. That memory is why they were truly separated. Your soulmate showed you the screen. Then the final message appeared. Ask your family who was injured that night. You looked toward the person standing beside the box. Their expression changed. You asked, "Who was injured?" They began to answer, but before the words came, your own memory returned. A scream. Broken glass. Your soulmate pulling you away from the archive chamber. Someone falling. An adult shouting that the children had seen too much. Then one final image. Your hands covered in blood. My child, pause for a second. Your soulmate reached for you as the memory overwhelmed your body. They promised you were safe. But you could no longer hear the room clearly. Because the hidden past was no longer only about money, false agreements, or families kept apart. Something terrible happened the first time you and your soulmate opened that box. Something both of you witnessed. Something that may have caused someone to be seriously injured. And the person who escaped with the final confession knows exactly how to unlock the rest of that memory. Your soulmate holds your hand and makes a decision. The missing recording must be found. Not to protect the reputation of either family. Not to save the connection from scandal. To discover the complete truth about that night. Because someone has spent years making you believe your love was the danger. But the evidence inside the box suggests the opposite. Your connection was the only reason the truth survived. And now, as midnight passes and the hidden room fills with the sound of old recordings waiting to be played, your soulmate looks at you and says, "No matter what happened that night, we face it together." But from the darkness outside, another phone begins ringing. It belongs to the person who helped separate you. On the screen is the name of the elder everyone believed had died years ago. And when the call is answered, a voice says, "They opened the box again. This time, do not let either of them leave with the truth."